Recording in progress.
All right, good evening. Welcome to the Board of Directors meeting for Sacramento Metropolitan Fire District for Thursday, January 9th. Want to start off with a roll call, would you please?
Yes. Director Sailors.
Here.
Director Gould.
Present.
Director Stark.
Here.
Director Weber.
Present.
Director Wood. No, I'm sorry, Director Rice.
Here.
Director Jones.
Present.
Director Costa.
Here.
Clark. Present. President Wood.
Here.
All are present. Thank you.
Great, thank you. We'll next move on to the pledge. Director Weber, would you lead us, please?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. Next, we'll move on to the Metro Cable announcement. For those interested in watching this meeting later, the ways to connect through Metro Live and YouTube are listed on the agenda. Next, we'll take the public opportunity to discuss matters of public interest within the district's jurisdiction, including items on or not on the agenda. Do we have any speakers?
I do not have any speaker cards. Is there anyone in the room wishing to make a public comment? Please come up to the podium. And no speakers online, no public comments this evening.
Outstanding. We'll move right along to our consent calendar. Can I get a motion on the consent or any questions on consent?
I have no questions, but I'll make the motion.
And second?
Great. We got a motion and a second. No questions. Can we get the roll, please?
Yes. Director Sailors.
Aye.
Director Gould.
Aye.
Director Stark.
Aye.
Director Clark. Aye. Director Rice.
Aye.
Director Jones.
Aye.
Director Weber.
Aye.
Director Costa.
Aye.
President Wood.
Aye.
Thank you. Motion passes.
All right, we'll move on to reports. President's report. Just want to say welcome to everybody. Look forward to a fun and exciting and productive 2025. And we'll move on to the fire chief. Welcome.
Thank you, President Wood. Nice to see you in that chair. Nice to see all the directors here, even though I'm trying to realign the seats now a little bit from the past year. And good evening, everyone. And I just wanted to reflect and start off tonight acknowledging the fires down south in LA and the significant impact that's making, and our hearts go out to the community, all the firefighters, including ours that are down there. And I just wanted to assure the public and our community that we are known worldwide in the state of California for a very robust mutual aid assistance program. We are part of that, but I want to ensure the public that we are fully staffed here in Sacramento, and particularly at Metro Fire, and our service delivery model has not changed with the effect of these fires, but we are supporting our brothers and sisters down south and all the community down there. So I wanted to start off with that, and I know you're going to get a more in-depth report from Chief Mitchell and his operations report on exactly what our crews are doing. They are all healthy and engaged. So my heart is with that. It's continuing to look devastating. So. On a lighter note, we have some retirements, and congratulate them for their years of service. Effective members that did an outstanding job for the community we serve here, and that's Captain Jordan Oakes with 13 years of service, firefighter Mark Griffin with 17 years of service, engineer Dwayne Walsh with 41 years of service, fire mechanic Lauren Mansell with 13 years of service, battalion chief Grant Russell with 30 years of service, fire mechanic Charles Mole with 25 years of service. Over 150 years of service we're gaining with a bunch of new members, but they did remarkable things for the community and were exemplary employees. So I wish those members the best of luck in their next endeavor and enjoy retirement. I hope they do it right. Firefighters are guilty for not doing it right. And then I want to welcome some new hires. We have 2 new fire mechanics. They both are effective starting on January 2nd, and that is fire mechanic Michael Andrea and Derek Bork. And that effective date is on the 2nd of January, so welcome both of them. And I asked if they would be here, and they politely declined as a mechanic. So anyway, I'll capture them at some point over coffee, I'm sure. And some promotions. One of the greatest things I can do as a fire chief is really to promote good people. And we had some exemplary promotions that I wanted to announce. And the first one, I'd like to bring up Battalion Chief Brian Dupertis. He is B-13 on the C shift, and he's effective January 4th. If Brian could come up to the podium and say a couple words. I did prep you for this a little bit.
Hello, thank you. Public speaking is always fun for everybody, right? I just want to say that it's an honor to be promoted to Battalion Chief. Tomorrow marks 20 years with Metro Fire for me, as well as the other members of my class that were paramedic interns under Dr. Gould back in '05. So that makes you old as well. I don't know if you're aware. And wise, right? It's been an honor to serve here at Metro Fire through every rank. I've been a intern, a recruit, probationary firefighter, engineer, captain, and now battalion chief. And every step along the way, I've learned that this is a team sport, that we all serve each other. And we are all here for the people who go out and contact the public every day. The firefighters who are on the nozzle, the firefighters who are in the back of the ambulance with the patients providing that service. And so every step up is just another way to support the people who are doing those jobs. And that includes myself in a new support role. And I look forward to supporting the public and the people who serve the public for the rest of my time here. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chief. Anyone have any comments, questions? Congratulations on your 20 years. And Director Gould's going into his 26th year with Metro, so
He's got me beat.
it's wonderful when we take the opportunity to remind him of that. So thank you very much. Congratulations. Good luck.
Congratulations, Chief. And next up, effective January 6th, is newly promoted Captain Keegan List. He'll be assigned to 59 on the A shift. Keegan, if you could come up and say a couple words.
Good evening. I'm loud, so I'm gonna step back. I don't need a microphone, and I didn't get prepped either by the chief that I was gonna be speaking tonight. But I'm Keegan List. I am going to 59A as the captain. I've been working out of class there for approximately a year. Just kind of waiting for the retirements and stuff like that. I've been with Metro Fire since 2013. I was the second class of single roles to come through. Graduated the Fire Academy in 2014 and have spent most of my time in either Ranch Marietta or down south of 51. So I'm looking forward to being in a new role and getting to support the members kind of like I was supported in my young career. So thank you all very much for the opportunity, and I hope to do great things out there.
Thank you very much, Captain. Congratulations. Any questions?
No, sir.
No? Congratulations and good luck to you.
Thank you.
Congratulations. And next up is Engineer Matthew Brodigan, who's going to be effective on January 8th, and he's assigned to Engine 108 on the B shift.
So much like Keegan, I also have a loud voice, so forgive me if I start throwing it. I'm Matthew Brodigan. I've been with Metro Fire since 2019. This is probably the biggest step I've taken in my career was continuing to challenge myself with this advancement. I started going down the role for engineer 2 tests ago, so finally, you know, I was successful in this process. Grateful for all of this learning I've done in this time, and also grateful for this new opportunity. So, yeah. Wasn't prepared to talk at all. I'm really excited to be at 108 because all my time that I've done out of class has been at 108, and it's also close to my station, so family can drop by and say hi anytime, or close to my home, excuse me. Family could drop by and say hi at any time, so yeah.
Outstanding. Congratulations to you. Any questions? Congratulations.
Thank you.
Good luck. Thanks.
Congratulations and thanks. And next up, I'm really pleased to announce that Cal Chiefs, the California Fire Chiefs Association, has selected me to represent them on the Kaiser Permanente California Professional Firefighters Cancer Research and Prevention Project Committee. That's something that, just to refresh your memory, President Rice at the time and I went back and spoke in Chicago on behalf of Kaiser, united with Kaiser at a healthcare summit, and the reflection of that summit was Kaiser stepped up and really is going to support the state and try to really look at firefighter cancer and research and make a difference, and I believe we will, and I know that's exciting for, I'm calling you right now the right term, President Rice, and I'm honored to be selected from Cal Chiefs to represent the state on that, so that's a big deal, and I'm humbled by that. Congratulations. Thank you. Yeah. And the last thing is a huge announcement, and we talk about people coming in the organization, retirements in the organization, and years of service, and I am honored and have a ton of respect for this individual, and I'm going to leave the honor to her to announce this. But I just want to say thank you, because she's changed the organization. She's changed the new division that she was assigned to, and without further ado, I'd like to bring up our Fire Marshal, Chief Barbie Law.
Good
Good
morning.
evening.
Or afternoon.
Good morning.
Good afternoon.
Good, I'm Barbie Law, I'm the fire marshal. I wanted to share some news with everyone. I'm pretty nervous and kind of in SVT, so if I pass out, Fong and Parker, you guys are the only ones that are allowed to help me. Everybody else, stay back. And maybe Dr. Gould. Dr. Gould. But that's it. As Chief House said, after I've been here for 31 years now, I have a really exciting opportunity that's come up in the last couple of months, and I decided to take a position with the Victoria Fire Department as a deputy chief in British Columbia. I made the decision after going up and meeting with the team last week over New Year's, and so I've accepted that offer, and my last meeting here will be the next board meeting. And then we will be packing up and going to Canada. So I don't know if all of you know, I am Canadian. For me, it's a huge honor to, end my career at home in a place that we've been going to for years. So that wouldn't have happened without the opportunities for me here. So I just wanted to thank the chief for his support while I've gone through this process, and the board for the friendship and mentorship that I've had with you all over the years. So, and I can't say anything else.
All right, because I'm sitting here, I'm going to say something. Chief Law, I want to say thank you for all the time you've given to me personally and all the education and mentoring and information I've been able to learn from you about EMS in particular and what we do day in and day out. So I want to say thank you for that time. Anyone else have anything you want to direct to Chief Law? Director Rice?
Chief Law, I'll just go Barbie. We worked together in a lot of water under the bridge. We did some really good work together, but I want you to know, because I've said it a lot, when I was a company officer, but also a chief officer, you were a go-to captain. I didn't get much of a chance to work with you as a chief officer, but there's one incident that stands out in my mind, and it was a May day. It was about 105 degrees, and we had, I think it went to 3 alarms or so. But Barbie, you and your crew were just one of about 3 that never wavered. And I could see it in your face. You had nothing left to give, but you and your crew gave. And I have never forgotten that. And just a lot of respect to you and the job you've done, and wish you all the best, and congratulations.
Anyone else? Director Sailors?
Barbie, I've known you for many, many years, back when you were on the private ambulance, and I was just a lowly firefighter out at Engine 17.
in all these years. I was very happy when I got on the board and you were still working here. And we've had a friendship and a meeting up again. And I'm so glad that you've stayed, and I'm glad that you've got this opportunity now and you get to go home and stay in the fire service up there. Congratulations.
Director Gould?
Thank you. I can't even see her. Is she hiding or? Thank you, Matt. Such a good job. Like Brian, I have some very fond memories of Barbie many years ago. It was pretty clear to many of us that if you ever were injured or sick and you looked up and on the ambulance was Barbie Law, you knew that you were going to survive whatever the injury was. And I've had a few of those in this community. But more importantly, I'm really not worried about her transitioning to Canada because there's a good rumor, Barbie, Canada's become the 51st state. Right? I'm not lying, right? So you'll just be back anyway. So frankly, it's already been said, but Barbie, Godspeed to you and your family. Canada is damn lucky to have you. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Anyone else? Director Weber, sorry, you're right next to me.
Just a simple congratulations, eh?
Hey.
All right. Chief, I'm sorry, Director Jones.
No, I have to throw in a super congratulations and about a million thank yous to Chief Law. Pleasure working with you. Well, I recall down at Engine 1, running first aid calls, EMS calls downtown Sacramento. So that goes back a couple years, just a couple years. Best wishes, best of luck, and you've put the eye in international firefighters. Thank you so much.
Chief, back to you.
Chief Law, I just want to say thank you. You have challenged me over the years and sat through meetings with me over the years, and your integrity, and I know there was times where it was you and I voicing a different opinion amongst a wide group when we had some challenges. I appreciate your degree of honesty and integrity. You've made me a better person because you've challenged me in that arena throughout my entire time knowing you. I do want to share that Victoria has expressed to me, which is highly unusual when they call out for reference acknowledgements. They usually do that once. I've done it in other positions besides this. They called 3 times, and all 3 times they were super excited, and they knew that the having to lose, and we're not losing you, you're always part of this family, but they knew the gain they were getting was astronomical. What you've done in this area, you have not only saved lives, you have changed this organization to the better. I'm going to pause there for a second because I can't say that about everybody. You're one of those that have changed the organization to the better. You're one of those that I agree with Director Gould. I look at you, and I know I had a roller skating incident, so you're one of those paramedics. And I don't want to, we always talk, and I think you've done this and reflected on this, we've always considered you highly effective in EMS, but your talents are so much greater than that, and Victoria understands that and knows that. I acknowledge that, not only as a friend, Barbie, but as the fire chief now. You are multi-talented. But you are one of those paramedics I know I would look forward to working on my kids or my family. And I hope that resonates back to you because I share that with very few people. Huge loss, huge gain at the same time. Thank you. And with that, that's the end of my report unless there's questions.
Any questions for the chief? Director Stark.
I have a few questions. I apologize, I'm new on the board, so I'm learning a lot. I had a couple questions about the Health and Wellness Division for the chief through the chair. I was hoping to get some information about, what's the plan to implement that program? How many positions do you believe will be necessary for the program, and are they funded? And also, what's the plan for promotion within the organization for leadership of that division?
All
If
great
I-
questions.
If I can jump in, one of the things, Director, I have here on my notes is to talk to the chief about getting a presentation on that in the coming meeting. So unless you got some quick answers.
Absolutely, absolutely. Ironically, as you know, I was challenged by Director Gold to expedite that division, and we did. We accomplished that very quickly. We made the division. There was an organizational chart that I inherited from the previous fire chief, and so I found efficiencies. So I was able to not ask for an additional assistant chief for that position. Due to absences, I've put Chief Peck in an out-of-class position. I intend to fill that when those absences allow me to in a permanent section. On top of that, I do have some notes from our meeting that I'd love to share with you and publicly. So, Wellness, Health, and Safety Division initiated exposure reduction program for the district with increased emphasis on the fire ground. We're the only ones doing it in the region. We implemented DECOM 110 very quickly, but that DECOM 110 was formed or initiated with a joint labor management discussion, and we both agreed we implemented it probably within the next 72 hours. But the emphasis with the new division has been shown where there's improved efficiencies, and we have now put turnouts on that rig. They're put SCBA bottles in that bag, and it's fully staffed. We're currently finalizing an RFP for what I have challenged my entire tenure, not only in this position, but when I oversaw safety in the training division, where we can improve efficiencies for our wellness program and our contract with our current vendor. We're looking at efficiencies that will help pinpoint those based on our demographics and our needs as an organization. That RFP is close to being done. We have found also that we were doing a lot of these things after we've done a lot of station visits. Some of those were done on islands. Part of my conversation with Chief Peck Monday is that we were challenging him from labor management to increase collaboration and work together on those and get those efficiencies put together off islands and in one single area. We started the K-9 peer support program, which has been a long time in the making. That has now finally come to fruition. And we implemented it, and we've challenged the Ready Rebound program. They just had a meeting that checked in to find out how that program is established and working or not. And they have initiated the Cancer Task Force, and that is going to probably, you asked me specifically about additional people, and I'm kind of spitballing here, but I'll make that more formalized later. But initially, I'd like to see 3 captains in that division that would be liaisons for each shift, and that would be in conjunction with my new assignment and what CPF and Kaiser, this private partnership that we're doing, so we have somebody assigned to that program also. So I'll probably be asking very timely Marches for a captain in that position. And that may change some of my other asks that were going to occur last year, but that is a priority for this organization. I hope that answers your question.
Yes, thank you.
Thanks. Any further questions?
Actually, if I can follow up on that. So it sounds like we have a presentation forthcoming that's going to capture all of what you just highlighted, Chief.
We don't yet. I just have a note to ask him. We
Okay.
will have one.
Perfect.
Yeah.
And
It's
part
a
of that will
concept
be
of a
overall
plan.
structured. Okay.
We're thinking alike. Yes, it was coming, and we hadn't talked yet, and I appreciate the ask. I hear you.
Thank you.
All right. Any other comments or questions for the chief? And we'll move on now to Operations Report. Deputy Chief Mitchell, welcome. Good evening.
Good evening and Happy New Year. Thank you, President Wood. Good evening, directors, Chief House, and everybody. Adam Mitchell, Deputy Chief of Operations. I'm going to start off talking about what Chief House mentioned earlier and the amount of devastation and the fires that's going on down in the greater Los Angeles area. Unfortunately, prior to this meeting, my phone started going off again. There's a brand new start of a new fire that's impacting some communities. And I was texting one of the fire chiefs who's a friend down there last night, and unfortunately, you can just, even without the verbal side, you can understand the amount of devastation and the loss of the properties and infrastructure in the communities is horrific. But our ability to respond to that is second to none. And I want to say, I'll just give you a quick overview of 2024, what we did, and then I'll talk about what we're doing now. So last year in 2024, Out of our own area here, we deployed 31 different times. We deployed our OES engines, Type 1s 8 times, our Type 3s 9 times. Pre-positioned once, a FEMA deployment, and then a single resource in the incident management team deployment went out 12 different times. 26 different incidents were covered by our members here. We had one pre-position in California, one in Oregon, and one in Florida. We deployed 142 different positions. The average number of days deployed for our members as they left, they went out the door to go help our other communities throughout California and the country, was 10. So that's the average. We had 12 deployments that lasted over 14 days. So those folks were away from their families and our community for a long time. And I want to really recognize that, just like Chief House said earlier, they were gone, but I want to recognize our members here back at home that stepped up every single time to cover our stations, to cover our equipment and our apparatus, to ensure that the service delivery here at home for our community was maintained. That's a very remarkable thing for our folks to be doing. Day and night, we're ready to go. We're ready to help our community, but we're also ready to help the greater good of the citizens of the state of California and the rest of the country. So very remarkable, and I'm very proud of this organization for doing that. They're down there right now. Not probably many times in the history would we expect fire season of 2025 to start on January 7th, but it did this year. It sure came in with a bang. The first fires that began down there, the Palisades incident, and then shortly after the Eaton incident, we had a couple of others also that began. The requests for service or help started to come in pretty fast. We deployed quickly that first night of the Palisades incident on the 7th, an OES Type 1 strike team that took 5 engines out of our area here, both OES engines supplied by Cal OES Fire and Rescue, but also one of our own Type 1 engines, just because we had some equipment that needed to be fixed on one of the OES engines, and so our membership stepped up, and our fleet division stepped up, and we have one of our Type 1 engines down there in a reserve behind it to cover the community that went down to help immediately. They left that night, arrived very early in the morning. We have a strike team leader and a trainee down there, and I was communicating with them as they traveled as well as when they got there. They got there at 5 a.m. in the morning, and they went to work, and they've been working ever since. They have been, even through the night, reportedly from them, they've saved multiple homes. They've been battling fires in apartment complexes. They've been battling fires at a high school, community centers. And even today, I'm speaking with them earlier via text because they're very busy. I don't want to call them. They were working on an apartment fire to try to minimize that damage to the community. And those folks left that first night. Quickly after that, we started getting resource requests back to our operational area here for additional resources. We were able to form up task forces, which is not like equipment, but they all carry water and pumps as quick as we could to squeeze the lemon as hard as we could to make lemonade. We got them out the door. That was our Type 3 engine that we have here, 8433, went out on a task force, 4802, and they headed down to the Eaton incident, which was quickly took off after the Palisades fire, and we have additional equipment now headed towards the Eaton incident, even up to today and through tonight. Those folks down there, our fire captain, I was texting with him earlier, the crews are in great spirits, very similar stories. They got down there and they got engaged right away. They were out there doing it for the community that they were asked to come and help. And so I'm very proud of our folks of getting in there and taking care of the community and the greater good, not just in our own area. But again, back here at home, as soon as those calls went out, our folks came back to work and they covered those vacancies, and so our community here is well protected too. So I'll stop there before I move on to the next. Is there any questions about our deployments and what we're doing out there right now?
I'll just want to say first off, Chief, thanks for the update, and I appreciate the updates that we get throughout the time too. It's good to know where people are, what they're doing, and what our risks are. And I also want to put in a good word and say Parker and his team are doing an amazing job getting out images, getting out stories, and letting our community know what's going on and what our people are doing down there. And you talk about people being ready to go and our men and women standing up and filling in back home. But it also, I know I've seen you guys from Chief House down, you guys all going out and taking shifts and riding on engines and riding on ambulances and helping out. So it's great to see, and I hope our men and women understand that the rank, not just the rank and file are doing this, but also up the command are also helping out. And it's good to see that from you guys. So thank you. Anyone else have comments for us?
Yeah, I understand. We understand we have the National Guard also involved.
That, I don't have specifics on that. That is a resource that is available in the state of California. We have gone outside of the state. The governor has reached out to other states as well, but that would be one that wouldn't surprise me. I don't specifically have it. It's been a very busy day today, just getting our own resources out, Director Clark, but the National Guard is a resource that they can implement both aerial and on the ground. And so I would expect that, just based off the size and the complexity of incidents, that they would be engaged also through the Governor Institute in that order, that mission tasking.
Thank you.
Yep.
Anyone else? Director Gould? Oh, sorry. Director Stark?
Just because I'm new, do we send air resources, our helicopters out to some of these events?
We do, Director. This specific event is not one that we have supported there, but we have done that in the past, and we have been very effective. That's a great point to make. Our Air Operations Division does a great job, and a lot of what they do has to do with just not the initial attack and the water dropping. Our capabilities on our aircraft are very rare in the state, especially this far north, and we have covered for medical evacuation as well as hoist rescue, both day and night, and had some very successful, life-changing rescues that have occurred through our air operations program. So with the addition of our third airframe, I expect that to be more so the case, since we have Copter 3 up now, and I'm told by Chief Pilot Nowosky that is either happening now or very close to being in service. We're able to do more of that to help the greater community throughout the state of California, but also make sure we're covered here at home.
Great, thank you.
Yep.
Director Gould?
Thank you, Mr. President. Really quickly, I just think we also need to look at, and you've probably already done this, but think about the families that are here in town whose member is down fighting these incredible infernos. I just wonder if there's something we can do as an organization to reach out to those significant others, the children who don't understand what's going on, maybe use our health and wellness people, because it's not just the wellness of the men and women that are responding to the calls, it's the health and wellness of our entire family. Yep. So whatever you're all doing, if we could continue to do that or do it even more to make sure that those folks are taken care of as well, I think that'd be a powerful message to our family.
I agree. They're part of the team. They're part of the family, right? And so when their members go down and deploy, they're absolutely part of that support mechanism. They have to take care of all the kids and all the stuff at home while their members while their family members, our members, are out doing what they're doing. I agree with you. Yeah.
And Chief, because I don't know, how constant are we in communications with those directly impacted by that deployment? Are they getting 12-hour updates? Are they getting, one of the things that would concern me is just simply not knowing. If we put together some kind of a network where they are constantly being updated in real time almost, however you could do it, I think that would go a long way to the trepidation that they might be suffering.
Yeah. So yeah, they have days on and days off as we're used to, so they are communicating that way. But I would agree there are mechanisms, and I know you mentioned our PIO. They're providing some of that information on. We are providing some of that on the social media, and so I know families are watching that. But I would also rely on our health and wellness as well as our labor partners that are constantly in communication with our family members as well. I know they do a lot of that, and those folks I've been communicating back and forth today just with those crew members individually. I know others are, to say, what do you need? We're here for you. What can we do to help you? That happens just with them reaching out. Their minimum is once a day they reach back out to us, or we try to get a hold of them. Right. But we're constantly in communication with them. But it's a good point to recognize the family.
Yeah, I'd hate to. I mean, okay, everybody loves or many people love social media. I think that'd be my least favorite way to make them aware of what's going on. We have an obligation, I think, to just reach out to that spouse or those people. It's our responsibility to let them know what we're asking them to do.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much for all you're doing. Appreciate the report.
Thanks, Director.
I just want to add to what Chief Mitchell said and part of your question too, and I want to acknowledge them, and I plan on inviting them back because I think they're due a presentation to you. But don't forget about our firefighter association that's been established before Metro. That's part of the predecessor agencies that was formed, and they have a Fire Wives Club, a Sunshine Committee. So there is more than just social media that's going around and engagements to address some of those issues. We can always do better with communication. So I just wanted to include them on that. Don't forget about those assets also.
Yeah, great point.
Chief, one other question before we go. If you can just, for the people that don't know it, explain quickly, this isn't necessarily Sac County. This isn't our taxpayer dollars going to LA. We're
Right.
going to get reimbursed for our people out there.
That is correct. That's a great point, Director or President Wood. Yeah, so the system, and Chief House mentioned earlier, we have the premier system in the entire world. People come to us to figure out how to do this. The system is set up for when these emergencies occur. The funding mechanism opens up for the revenues from, or the budgets from the state and federal governments to help support the response to these events, these catastrophes. The fires are one, floods, hurricanes, those kinds of things also, but the system is very well built. And when we send folks to these types of responses, when they go out of our area, there is a mechanism for reimbursement that recover the costs for those folks is to be able to staff back home, but also for the time, efforts, and energy. And then the organizational administrative costs that come along with doing that is also supported through their agreements that are in place. No one else does it like the state of California. We are fantastic at this, unfortunately, because we're so practiced, but we do a fantastic job.
Andy, thank you. Any other comments for the chief on this issue? No? Proceed.
Okay,
Thank you.
thanks. Yep. And then, so now I'm going to turn it over to out-of-class shift commander, Chief Fong, to come on up and do the shift commander spotlight.
Thank you. Hello, directors. Good evening, Chief House. I am sure glad that I had a 2-for-1 tonight because you stole my thunder with Chief DePertis, but we happen to have another one. That being said, again, Kim Fong, they placed me in Chief Johnson's role as C-Shift Shift Commander. It's been an honor, it's been fun, and it's been a lot, but it's been a good learning experience. I'm here to present you the member spotlight. That being said, I'm going to bring newly promoted Battalion Chief Brian DePertis back up. He is going to be able to introduce one of the crews and highlight one of the recent incidents they've been on. That particular crew is Rescue 21, and I know we have 2 former directors that spent quite a bit of time there, and come to find out that Director Stark spent some time on a rescue in Oakland Fire as well. So that being said, Chief DePertis.
Who knew we'd see each other so soon again? So it's an honor to work up in Battalion 13, where we do have our rescue program. These guys train tirelessly to do jobs that are asked of them, not very often, but when they're asked, they're putting their lives on the line in a different way than what we normally do for the rest of the fire service. And so on Thanksgiving Day, they were called into service in a little bit of an unusual way. And so I'm going to let Captain Butler explain the call that happened.
Hello, Captain Butler. I run the rescue program. I'm Station 21 C Shift on the rescue. And the crew is Smith, Duff, and Rosen are 4 of the 7 people that are on the rescue with us. So on Thanksgiving, we got a call for an animal rescue with a dog over the bluffs. Engine 31 was the first on scene, and they were like, oh, we can't do this. The dog is actually, the house actually was offset about 40 feet off of the bluff cliff. If you know where the Man Bridge is, just north or just east of Sunrise Boulevard, the middle arched bridge. It's about probably 800 yards north or east of that. It's about a 60-foot drop into the river. So their house is probably 40 feet off of that and then straight down in to the river. This dog, Charlie, is a known runner, decided to have freedom for that day because he was thankful for his freedom, and ran out and went over the bluff and onto, basically 20 feet down onto what appears to be lawn clippings that the owners were throwing over the edge to make kind of like a berm to walk in. So the dog was running back and forth on this. When Engine 31 got there, they established that they couldn't do this with what they had, so they ended up calling us. On our way there, we balanced this as a rescue, a special rescue type in the CAD, just so we had the notification sides of it and the stats and things like that. When we arrived on scene, we basically realized that the dog was down there safe, but running back and forth, and there was no avenue to get down to the actual grass berm that he was running around on. So we deployed 3 rescuers in certain spots to try to corral this dog. And this dog wasn't one of those like, hey, come here, boy, come right up to me and I'm gonna pet you and be fun. The dog was not having any of that. So we had to put basically a rescuer on one side and a rescuer on the other side to block the dog from running down the river further and hurting itself. And then we had firefighter Smith go over the top right where the dog was and work with Adam Rosen to kind of corral the dog and rescue that dog in that area. Below that was the boat in case we had to go down to the river or have any issues where the dog was going to go down. So we had boat 65 basically pinned to the beach, and one of the rescuers are coming up and was throwing rocks and dirt trying to get the dog to go out of the bushes towards the firefighters so they can grab them. It was an interesting, ever-evolving, dynamic call that is not normal, but you could put that into a place where a dog could be a human or a kid, especially in that environment and that house. Like, fence lines were within here to here of the cliff, which is the wildest thing that people are okay with living that close to a cliff. In my world, it doesn't exist, but it's a gorgeous house and a gorgeous view, but that's the risks, you know. And I didn't do much. I just walked around and talked, and these three are the ones that actually did the majority of the work. So it was a very fun, very dynamic call. So, yeah.
Outstanding. Any questions for the captain?
Yeah, what time of the day was this again?
This was like 5:30, 6 o'clock.
Oh,
Yeah,
so
it was
it's
right at
dark.
dinner time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's dark.
Yeah.
Oh. Made it,
Yeah, on
made it-
Thanksgiving.
made it way more challenging.
Director Costa?
Yeah. How long have we had this program?
Ooh, it's going to be 2001, 2002 is the inception date. I don't know the exact time. I have it written down, and I'm not very good at numbers. So things like remembering that kind of stuff is hard. But 2001, 2002, Chief House would probably know exactly right around the exact date.
2001.
Bob knows. Yeah, Bob knows. Yeah.
Okay.
What?
2001.
2001. Okay. Yeah, I figured it was somewhere around there. Yeah. Yep.
Director Weber?
Because I do know a little bit about this program. So how's it going? I mean, do you have everything you need? Are staffing levels being met? I know that with attrition and everything else, it's kind of tough to keep that level of expertise up, numbers, all of that stuff. Is the interest there? Is the retention there? How's the program running?
That's a fun question.
Well, I want.
We're surviving right now. It's not we're not gaining, we're losing. Every promotion, I lose a member. We're at like 96 right now, but only 92 of them are allowed to work on the actual station. I have 23 engineers and I have 35 firefighters, which I'm supposed to be at 45 or 46 firefighters, and I'm supposed to be at 34 engineers. And every promotion, I lose engineers and I lose firefighters. I have more captains than I need. I have actually 5 captains that are waiting to get on the list. I know that the hazmat has a bigger issue with the wait list than us, but we have an interest issue. It's about $8,000 and about 10 days of vacation to go through all the classes, and it takes about 2.5 years to do it. It's one of those conundrums of it's risk versus gain, like for an individual, especially if somebody has kids. It's a lot of cost for a little bit of money. So the interest level is not there, and I understand, like I did it and I paid for my classes when I was younger, but I had the desire and I had the exposure to it. We lost our fire medic, and for the firefighters in the house and the station life, it was a bonus, and it helped their lifestyle and their sleep and everything like that, all the things that are good for us, but it took away that element of interest because we have no exposure to new people. So if new people have never worked at 21, because you're not allowed to, based off of quals, you'll never know the exciting stuff we do unless you magically work with a guy that's able to work there and they talk about a call or something like that. So we're a dwindling program in the aspects of trying to get people exposure and interest in it. And then people look at it and they laugh at me when I'm like, yeah, I go through these classes, it's $8,000, and they're like, yeah, no, it's not happening. So I know we did fix a part of that today, and I'm very thankful and appreciative to the district that I got approval from, I literally on the way here, Chief Barthel called me and said, you are approved to start looking for people that do not have the classes, that are not in the program, and then start funding those classes with the budget, which is rad, because that will be able to bridge that gap of people not wanting to pay $8,000 to get it through. But we're gonna do it based off ranked specific needs, if that kind of makes sense.
What does rad mean?
Cool, fun, awesome. This is not my forte.
Okay, so
if you know me well enough, I don't talk well.
My ask to you is, and to your chief, and to your chief, and your chief, and your chief, is there is there any plan that you can come up with for the long term, so this program never, ever fails? Because this is, it's an incredibly important program, not only for Metro Fire, but the region. So again, come up with a plan. And if you don't have one, come up with one. If you have one, get it to your chiefs and run it all the way up and see if there's something that we can do. I heard you as far as the funding and the interest. That's great. But I don't want to see this program not only not fail, but I don't want to see it backing up at all. I want to keep going forward with it. It's too important. So that's my ask of you and all of the chiefs, all the way up to the chief.
That works.
So I'm going to comment on that a little bit. Great question, and I agree with you. And I think you know my history with setting up special operations in this organization was not just hazmat. It was all the special ops, and I give a huge shout out to our friend Dale Turner who led that charge. It's something that we cannot accept to go backwards on service delivery. So putting Battalion Chief Brian Barthel, who has a vested interest because he's been in the majority of all of our special operations, probably a first time we've had a battalion chief that actually has been in all of our special operations programs. He's redefining what those priorities are and getting a snapshot of what that looks like to be in the future from the ground level up to make sure that we're having the highest standard of success on each one of those programs and special operations because they are unique and different. We have also challenged OES recently to reestablish what our requirements are or are not, and I appreciate that Captain Butler identified some holes and some needs, and we went to OES, and we have a great collaboration, and that working relationship is stronger than ever, and I know that was something you have asked of me of this position now. We just recently got our boats back from OES, so that is an example of where we're going with some of your questions and comments on special operations and the rescue program. And that's going to free up some of those needs that we have as an organization, but we are a resource for the state, and you know that as a Type 1 heavy. We've established that in every one of our special operations. We're the same in that boat for we didn't take a second standard look at that. We are a Type 1 in every single one of our disciplines. And I want to comment of where we are very blessed. Our members here are instructors that instruct not only locally, but throughout the state and sometimes nationally. We want to use those talents, not to take away from everybody else, but when we have that talent within our organization, we can train our own to a level that we don't have to send them to an instructor. We have no idea their level of expertise. And so my direction has been that we're going to utilize our instructors that are training everybody else. We should be included, and that was part of the agreement that we have now with OES. And they have acknowledged that they're going to accept that standard because the state of California is known as area having jurisdiction. So we've had substantial improvements in the last 18 months on that, and it's reflected because we have our boats back.
Excellent. Any other questions for?
I have a follow-up question.
Go ahead.
Yeah, sorry. Since you're up there, I figured I'd just follow-up question. So you highlighted a gap on how many men and women you need to fill that. How much was that again? Personnel-wise?
We're 97, so you're 110, so
Okay.
yeah, well, 92 can work, so around 20. We'll just say around 20.
Yeah, perfect. And so then it sounds like you've got some funding coming your way to try to fill that gap, but there still is a gap.
There's going to be a gap. The downfall is not Metro Fires. It is the state of California, not to throw them on point, but if I can't find a class, I can't put somebody in a class.
I see.
And for the last 5 years, I have been returning training money back to the district because I don't have the ability to find classes because the state doesn't offer the classes. The state is, it's a bigger picture, is the state is changing the Type 1 requirement for a heavy rescue. They're changing the inventory, but the inventory is going to change based off the classes and the personnel needs. They haven't defined what the classes are going to be 100% yet. We're still in the process of working on that, and I've been waiting for 4 years for them to define what classes are going to be required for a Type 1 heavy.
Yeah.
So I can't really, they changed a bunch of classes too, so all the classes are changing,
and they're adding classes. So if I don't have a class available, I can't plug somebody into it. And that's when I said it takes about 2.5 years to get all the classes done from 0 to nothing or 0 to full. It's not as easy. Like I wish I was in the hazmat world for that side. Is you can get it done in a 12-week period or an 18-week period. All 6 classes are kind of set to be done in a couple months, which is rad. Again, yes, Chief.
Totally
rad. Which is awesome for them because they can get it done quickly. It takes 2.5 years on average these days to do it, and for years there wasn't even classes offered. It's just one of the things we're stuck in a little waiting wheel for the state to finalize what a Type 1 Heavy is going to look like. And once they define the classes, then they'll define the equipment, and then all the other stuff lines out. So it's not us, it's...
So those challenges are real, but I think to Director Weber, there's an opportunity putting together a proposal, and then part of that is, what can the board do, right? What do you need from the board? So,
yeah,
more work for you, right?
I don't want to sound selfish, but it's all going to come down to, dollars and cents, because that's
absolutely.
90% what this world revolves around, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
and,
But we don't know until you tell us, right?
That is very correct.
Thank you. Thank you for taking the time.
Director Rice.
Captain Butler, and through Chief House or through the chair, can we at least connect? I have an interest to know what the requalification of a heavy rescue would look like outside of, as a board director, I sit on the state board of fire training and then fire scope. I may be in a position to help push on that a little bit. I haven't heard it yet. I'm always skeptical about what are we adding and why are we adding it. I'm going to do something that I never do, but I'm going to do it anyway. Is there an incentive to be on the rescue?
There is.
Okay.
Yeah, 3.5%.
Okay. And when men and women that want to go on the rescue want to get the training, the reason that they're using vacation and paying on their own is because there's no state-offered training, or is that what we do?
The state offers the classes, but it's you pay individually. Currently, right now, as of today, we can actually send people, we can pay for their tuition to the class. That was approved, which is perfect or rad, that they did that. So that is a huge win for us. It's just, one, finding the classes, and guys trying to figure out if the risk versus the gains is in their wheelhouse.
Understood. Chief, not trying to bargain. I wanted to have an understanding of how that process is working. And with Director Weber, from being almost ground zero, Bob was, I was a captain in the station on the engine. I do a lot to support this program. I really believe in it. I believe in what you do, and we need it. So there's definitely an interest on this board member's part.
Yeah, it's the downfall with the state changing the requirements is it's going to add 4 different classes to the minimum list. One of them isn't even out on actual available to take, but when we did the rough math a while back, and I'm not trying to talk numbers, but it was over $400,000 to get everybody through the new requirements for the state. I'm not saying they're not worth it, because there's like machinery rescue, which is getting material off of a human being, right? Like, so the Gavin Newsom thing where they were riding and put their hands in the thing, that is a class to teach how to cut that off without hurting the individual. Then there's heavy vehicle lift, which is in a semi-truck or large vehicle versus a small passenger vehicle. And then there's the new structural collapse curriculum that they changed. They had RS1, RS2, RS3, which is the levels for earthquakes. They switched it to a structural collapse 1 and 2, which is breaking those 3 classes into 2 classes. But now the state requires you to have structural collapse 2, which means if you don't have RS1, RS2, RS3, you have to go back and take structural collapse 2, which is a week-long class. And then they're adding tower rescue, which tower rescue is climbing towers and rescuing jumpers and planes and Santa Clauses that get stuck on power lines.
Understood. Is there any kind of do you know of any kind of grandfathering for members that have rescue systems 1, 2, and is it CLAPS or rescue systems?
It's a structural collapse specialist 1 and 2. So if you had RS1 and RS2, you got structural collapse 1. If you have all 3, you got both. So that was the grandfathering side.
So that has been grandfathered?
We only had 12 or 17 members that qualified to the grandfather for the whole boat. Now we have pretty much everybody who's grandfathered into structural collapse 1, because that was a requirement to be in the program, is to have RS1, RS2. So now I have to send about 50 people through structural collapse 2 at $1,500 a person,
and a 5-day class.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And I'd like to talk a little bit more, hear a little bit more. I'm making myself a dinner date. Thanks.
Director Stark.
I was briefly a rescue captain a long, long time ago when things have changed. We were able to get training through USAR, is how we got most of our people trained.
Yep.
So we didn't have, is that still possible?
We have a lot of members that are on the USAR program. The problem with the USAR program, and Chief House will probably know more, is USAR doesn't issue state certs, they issue task books. And according to the state, and he might be able to correct me because he's got more knowledge than I do, is the state did not accept task books in the FEMA world. It doesn't compute to California. So I don't know what that looks like now after the whole water rescue and that new side. But historically, we don't offer anything unless it's a state cert or metro fire equivalency. So we have the ability to teach 2, soon to be 3 of the 7 classes that are required in-house eventually. So we're working on our last one. 90% of it's just props and locations is our weak point. Like we're gonna try to bargain with SMUD to access their towers to do tower rescue, because I have 2 in-house tower rescue trainers, but I have to find a tower, which is nothing we're gonna buy or build. But I can use partners with SMUD and get the actual tower rescue done.
Right.
So.
Well, I appreciate that. And I'm very supportive of the program, and I'd be interested in finding out more on how we can support you.
I love it.
Yeah.
Director Weber?
So just to be clear for everyone in the room, because when one of us was working that program, we did tower rescues. We did heavy equipment off of people. So just because the state doesn't recognize you having that cert, that does not preclude you from doing those tasks, yes or no?
We do all the tasks right now,
Thank you.
with or without a certification. Piece of paper don't matter. Yeah.
Great.
Great question, and I'm going to comment once again because I want to clean a couple things up there publicly, and I think we owe that to our partners in the area too, right? To your question on USAR, you're absolutely right. It's a mechanism that we can use to fulfill the needs. It was better yesterday than it is today because of the state requirements now that are being updated, and we're not the host agency for USAR at Sacramento City, so it's a partnership there. The task book question, yes, we are going to be able to use the task books from USAR to write equivalencies based on that training. We are not going to be handcuffed by a certificate to do our job, Chief or Director Weber. That is our culture. We will stand by that, and I believe I have your support, and we will stand that we are a premier agency, and we have men and women that will do anything for the need of the public, and we're going to allow them to do that. We're not going to intentionally violate any law or OSHA, but we're going to do what's needed to save people. That is our profession. And Captain Butler, you didn't throw OES under the bus. I want to clean that up a little bit. We have been working with, better than I've seen it probably in the last 5 years anyway, with OES, and Chief Marshall is very receptive. We had great meetings so far on what really realistic training for our organization at a realistic cost for our organization, and we won't be handcuffed by the state training fire for just certificate fees. And I want to acknowledge once again, the primary reason we're doing this is to protect the public. But the other reason is we are blessed to have such great members that went out and learned to be the premier instructors in these disciplines. We are going to use them, and I am satisfied, and I will sign any certificate that says we meet or exceed any standard, not only in the state, but federally, because of our instructors and our care and passion that they're teaching above those standards. That was a little bit of a challenge, but we figured that out with not only just OES, but their attorneys. We got signed documentation back on our contract that we were right, and we're gonna exercise that. But the bottom line is our members, under the command philosophy that allows them the latitude to make good decisions on every call, cannot be handcuffed to make a decision based on a certificate. We're gonna do the right action every time. And I wanna address that publicly so everybody hears that, because that is, I think, that is not what I think. That's my direction with support from you all. Because I would not wanna sleep well, and I will not sleep well, knowing that we resisted to do something and did not save a life or make it better. I would not wanna put any one of our members in that atmosphere. They have to live with those consequences of their actions daily. So great questions, and I think what the follow-up is, where I would ask you for the work, is we owe the board a full presentation on the rescue program.
Are you sure you want me to talk?
I think this is where I'll correct you. You lead the team. Everybody else there runs the team.
Yeah.
Bring in your team.
Okay.
Make it a team effort to give a presentation. And if there's any needs, we'll support those needs.
Look forward to it. Thank you so much, Captain.
But I don't know if it's on the other directors' mind, but what breed was the dog?
It was a golden doodle? Golden. Labradoodle, golden doodle.
I'm sure somebody else was thinking about it.
Yeah. It was a cute dog. It was a really cute dog, yeah.
Okay, I didn't know if it was like a big dog or whatever. But anyway, I mean, let's go beside the serious conversation that we were having.
Strong work. Thank you so much, Captain.
Thank you.
Chief Mitchell, anything further?
I think we used all of our words, and I know the Chief Bailey and Chief Johnson are chomping at the bit. But just before I depart, I just want to say to Chief Law, Metro Fire's value and what she's done has increased because she's gotten folks ready to fill her role, and our loss as an organization is Victoria's gain. So congratulations. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Chief. Moving on out of Class Deputy Chief Johnson for the admin report. Welcome. Good evening.
Good evening, President Wood, directors, Fire Chief House, colleagues. Mike Johnson, Acting Deputy Chief of the Administration Branch. I'll keep my comments short. Once again, the Ops Branch has stole all of our time, so I will keep them short on behalf for you guys. I want to publicly thank the CalJack for the dedication of their FCTC building that we got to attend on December the 18th for retired Captain Bob Bruce, who succumbed to job-related cancer. It was humbling. The way they honored Bob I was thrilled to be a part of. It was very, very, very moving. The fact that his legacy will live on in that building, the numbers of young lives and ambitious people that want to come into this profession that he impacted, incredible job. So thank you for the invite, and we greatly appreciate it. Just a quick update, I'm one of the co-chairs for the service delivery team, and we have been meeting regularly to kind of figure out what some of our next steps are. A lot of good collaborative work between labor and management, and I'm excited that we are ready to push some recommendations over to the fire chief for his consideration. So yeah, I'll keep it at that unless you guys have any questions.
Chief, we could put these in alphabetical order, so admin would come before operations if that would give you time to show off the way you want to.
I'm afraid you'll just be thinking what's going to come from the ops report, not listen to me. Thank you.
Well, it's always good to hear from you. Thank you so much.
Nicely done.
All right, next up, Deputy Chief Bailey, Support Services. Good evening.
Good evening, Board of Directors, Board Chair, Chief House, colleagues, and members of the public. Ty Bailey, Deputy Chief Support Services. I just want to start out by congratulating Chief Law on her appointment as Deputy Chief of the Administration at Victoria Fire Department. I've had the opportunity and privilege working with Barbie at every rank, and 2.5 years ago, she was moved over from EMS to the Fire Marshal position, and I may have been one of the few, but I remember having a conversation that I had no doubt that she was going to be the subject matter expert within 72 hours. I've got more texts and phone calls and emails after hours, emails after midnight. You know, when she's on vacation, you're really not on vacation because I know you're working, and I get on her about that all the time. Even in the vice president role of the union, you know, she assisted and did so much work for us, and I know that I've been able to lean on her in every aspect of my career, and you truly are a leader, Barbie, and I just want to say congratulations and thank you for everything that you've given to Metro Fire and to me personally, so thank you. So with the support services, I'd like to introduce to you our facilities manager, Joe Ekus. You know, I came over here 6 months ago, and I've been doing a lot of learning, and I will tell you that he's doing an incredible job for us, and as we all know, moving into 2025 and going forward is going to be a very busy few years. So I want to introduce him to you, and he's going to report out a few things that are going on in support, or excuse me, in facilities. So, Joe?
Thank you, Chief Bailey. Good evening, Board. Good evening, Chief. For those that you don't know me, I'm Joe Ekus, Facilities Manager. I've been with Metro Fire for the past 9 years, 7 years as a facilities technician, and now I'm on my second year as the Facilities Manager. Prior to working for Metro Fire, I was a graduate of the Inside Wireman's Apprenticeship Program through the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers. Yes, sir. Yep, worked for Collins Electrical Company for, all right. Great company. Awesome. Yep, worked for them for 8 years, starting out as an apprentice, working after I graduated the apprenticeship program, worked for them as a journeyman, and then from there moved into a foreman position for them. Prior to working for Collins Electric in the IBEW, I was a graduate of the Accelerated Careers and Technology program through Modesto Junior College, where I received my certificate in completion in industrial technology as an electrician. A little bit into my training, Universal EPA certified. If you don't know what that means, certified to purchase and handle HVAC refrigerants. OSHA 10 certified, OSHA 30 certified, sorry, and project supervision certification through the IBEW as well. A little bit on the personal side, married to my wonderful wife, Kate, going on 13 years now. We have 2 amazing girls. Sawyer is 10 years old and Harper, who is 5. So that's a little background on me. Moving into 2025, let's speak a little bit about the division and the plans we have moving forward in 2025. We're all, as a division, we're super excited about this year and what it holds for us and the district. Our plan for 25, we plan on replacing roughly 20 roofs and doing 10 to 15 major roof repairs as well on these on the older stations. As well as the roofs, we plan on replacing HVAC equipment as well, 15 years or older, or if they have, or if they're past their useful lifespan as well. So we want to start at the top, roofs, HVAC, and then we're going to work down into the stations as well. Start with infrastructure and critical systems of the station on these stations. Not sure if all of you are aware, more than half of our stations are 50 years or older, with 25% of them being 60 years plus. So we got a lot of catching up to do before we can start the beautification process. In the facilities, a couple of statistics for facilities. Facilities division, we're responsible for upkeep and maintenance on 502,600 square feet of commercial real estate. It's myself and my 4 technicians who are 4 of the hardest working people I've ever had the pleasure to work with. Last year, we received over 800 work orders from fire stations, as well as the 50 projects that we've completed in-house with the 4 technicians that we have. So we're running and gunning. I got a report out for about the last month worth of work, larger projects we have going on. Station 115 Air Ops HVAC chiller replacement was completed today. They finished the startup on that this morning. Arson Building, the re-roof project started today as well. That'll be finished up on Monday. Station 116 abatement is scheduled for Tuesday, and that'll run through Friday of next week. Station 51 dorm privacy and flooring project is scheduled to start on the 21st and is anticipated to complete on the 29th. With that project, we'll be removing the Murphy beds, installing lockers to form in dorms, and then reflooring to give privacy to the firefighters working in that station. Arson restroom remodel is complete as well. We completed that last week. The logistics EV chargers for the 2 new electric EV vans were completed last week as well, and those are up and running and operational as well now. So now Logs is currently using the 2 electric vans that they have. And then we're continuing to work on district upkeep and maintenance as well. That's my report out, and a little bit about myself. Open up to any questions if we have them.
Thank you so much. It's good to see you and meet you. Over the last couple of years, Chief Wagaman was not shy about bragging about all the work you guys did and the money and resources that you guys saved the district by taking on those projects and doing a lot of that hard work yourself. So it's good to put a name with those success stories. Anyone have any comments, questions?
No, the only thing I can say is we know a lot of people in common.
With
Collins. Yeah, it's been quite a while at Collins.
All right. Well, thank you for your time. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much. Good, yeah.
Thank you, Board of Directors. That's the end of the report, unless you have any questions.
Any comments, questions for Chief Bailey? Thank you so much, Chief.
Thank you, and Happy New Year.
Same to you. Well, moving on to 522 report. Captain Schollard, welcome. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. I'm going to work on it. I'm going to try and have a short report. We'll see. We'll see. I might just go a little bit over what the rescue had to say. So, good evening, Board of Directors, Chief House, members of the public, executive staff, colleagues. Sean Schollard, Vice President, Local 522. I'd like to just echo what Chief House said earlier. Just thoughts and prayers with not only our members that are down south, but the crews that are currently working down there that live down in the Los Angeles area, that's their home. Thoughts and prayers with all of them, the citizens down there. It's a pretty somber time, reminds me of Maui, very much so. So I'm sure there's firefighters out there that are protecting other folks' homes while theirs are also being lost. And that's something that I think, is a testament to what we do as firefighters. Thank you to the men and women that work for Metro Fire that backfilled our stations so that we could go down there and give support. I know our crews went down there, late in the evening, got there, went straight to work, and have not had a rest period yet. I know that rest period will come, like Chief Mitchell said. But even if that rest period was available to them, I can guarantee you none of them would want to rest knowing that there's work to be done. That's just how we operate. They are in good spirits. Everybody down there is they're loving what they're doing. They're loving being impactful. So to their families, I'm glad that the point got brought up about staying in touch with their families, because it is impactful on home. I mean, just my kids were watching the stuff on the news and they were like, "Dad, please don't go down there. Please don't go down there." I'm like, well, but probably not. I'm probably not going to. Trust me, the guys on the line give me enough grief for this day assignment, but I probably won't go down there. But it just tells me that, our kids are impacted by that. They see it, and sometimes they don't express it, but just to be able to reach out and make sure that they're doing fine at home and making sure that they feel supported is important. So I appreciate you guys all recognizing that. To Chief Law, congratulations. We've got to work very closely together throughout the years. I actually think Chief Law was the first arriving company officer on my house fire when my house burnt down in 8th grade. Which is ironic, how times changed and how we got to work together throughout the years. And I will add exactly what Chief House said. I think you are kind of a jack of all trades. You are the definition of ownership in an assignment. We worked side by side, reviewing labor agreements, reviewing the MOUs. I had an idea of what I was getting myself into when I was told that I was going to be paired up with Barbie to review the MOUs. I didn't think it would go as long as it did, but it went about twice as long because she's so meticulous that we went line by line, every single contract. And it wasn't just looking at the big ticket items, it was looking at the little ones because she wants it to be perfect. And that's what you strive for, is excellence. We were doing grammar correction, punctuation, you name it. I was learning some stuff that I probably didn't pay attention to in school, but, so I got a lot out of it, but it was fantastic.
And then with your support and help in the RFP for our new TPA, again, having you in there, and obviously you were the first one to get your notes back, and when I saw yours, I realized how much more work I had before I submitted mine, which was good. You make people better. I think the point to make is that wherever you're at, you make people better because you have such a high level of expectation for yourself. I am happy to hear that you are taking this position as much as it hurts this organization, but I do feel like you're doing something for you, and it's about time. So congratulations. Gosh, I don't know what to say now. 2025, we have a lot of work to do in 2025, but I will say that I feel out of the service delivery meeting today, great definition of collaboration in that. Mike Johnson can attest to that. Like, we had 30 days out of, we had a labor management meeting yesterday. We talked about getting a proposal back to the executive team with a recommendation in increasing services. We said that would be back in the next 30 days just because of the proactive work and the dedication of the service delivery group. We're gonna have that in the next 48 hours, I would assume. Well, maybe Monday, we'll see. But it's coming quick, and I think they're great recommendations to the support of Aaron Castleberry, Jeff Fry, all those folks there to put the data together to be able to take the ideas that we have from the folks on the line and be able to plug it into a system to see the impact that it may have, right? The potential impact that it may have really leads us to a good direction of making these decisions. So I think it's great, and always having the flexibility to be able to pivot that is fantastic. I'm happy to announce, because I know it's been a high topic priority about workers' compensation, presumptives, these types of things. I want to thank Chief Johnson for his support and dedication and really not wavering from the direction that you all gave him. Obviously, the direction that labor's been pushing for a long time. Director Weber, Director Sailors on the ad hoc committee. I think it's appropriate to announce that we've accepted a cancer claim on a member that's been the fastest that Metro Fire's ever accepted a cancer claim, 2.5 months. It's a monumental change for this organization. And I think I've said multiple times before that I want us to be the premier organization when other agencies come to us. They do it a lot already for a lot of things. But to come to us and say, man, how do you guys do it? We are making significant changes in this organization when it comes to workers' compensation and taking care of our members, specifically to presumptives. There's more work to be done, and I think that there's even bigger light at the end of the tunnel here really, really quick. A big thank you and acknowledgement to our partners down in San Diego that have been there time and time for us. They really are doing things great down there, and it didn't happen overnight for them. It took over a decade to get that, but they are willing to pick up the phone, not only for labor. I know that management's reached out to them, unrepresented staff have reached out to them. They have really opened their doors for us to put us in a position to correct some of these changes for us in a much faster time period than 10 years. So I think that that's fantastic, and I look forward to the work to come on the work comp side. I know we have an ad hoc meeting next 23rd, so more to come on that. So we have some leadership changes at the executive board for Local 522. We have a swearing in next week at our executive board session. So we have 2 new directors coming up. Brett Randall in the back is transitioning from a deputy director role to a director on executive board. And Matt Cole is coming back in, probably a familiar face and familiar name. So he's coming back in and taking a director's role as well. Both of them accept the nominations, and super happy to have them. Super happy to have Matt back on the team. Super happy to have Brett move into that director's role. He's really embraced the administration side of things from the local. He's worked really closely with Chief Johnson, working on health and wellness, and working closely with Chief Peck on RFP developments and what we can do better for health and wellness, and in addition to workers' comp. And taking on that task is not an easy task. There's a lot to learn in there, as I'm sure Chief Johnson knows. Like, it's a lot. So Brett's done a great job, and I'm super thankful to have them. So Congratulations to the promotions in the back. You guys earned it. I know we've all worked together throughout our careers. Super stoked for you guys. Definitely, it's nice when the hard work pays off. So congratulations to all of you, and that's it for this evening. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Captain. Anybody have any questions, comments? No? Thank you so much. All right, moving on to committee and delegate reports. The executive committee met tonight. We made our appointments for the various committees and yeah, all the committees that we have. I'm going to read those out, let everybody know where they fell. For the Finance Committee, it's going to largely stay the same. We've got Director Jones was nominated to remain on that board. Director Stark was nominated to that committee. And Director Clark was also nominated. Director Weber has agreed to be the alternate for the Finance Committee. For the Policy Committee, there's not a single change other than naming Director Gould as an alternate. That will remain Directors Costa, Sailors, and Clark. The Regional Comm Center, JPA, we're keeping the delegate as Chief Bailey, and we have nominated Chief Mitchell as his alternate delegate. For the Citrus Heights 2x2 Committee, that will remain Directors Gould and Weber. The Rancho Cordova 2x2 will remain Directors Jones and myself. And the Sac County 2x2 will be Director Jones and Director Sailors, with Director Stark serving as an alternate for that committee. The Ad Hoc Committee was continued with Directors Sailor and Weber. And the Reserve Firefighters Qualification Review Commission, I still will be sitting on that one. So that was our full agenda for the day, and we don't have currently have a meeting scheduled, but we'll keep you posted if we do have one. Moving on to the Comm Center, JPA, Chief Bailey.
I have no report. Our next meeting is January 14th here at Metro headquarters at 0900. That's the first one of the year.
Thank you very much. Director Jones, Finance and Audit Committee.
Yes, sir. Thank you, President Wood. Our next meeting is scheduled for January 23rd at 5:30 in these premises.
Outstanding. Policy Committee, Director Costa.
Thank you, Mr. President. Policy Committee has not met yet this year. Our next meeting is scheduled for February 13th.
Thank you very much. We'll go on to board members' questions and comments. I'll start to my left with Director Jones.
Thank you again. Well, I have reiterated, I want to reiterate my congratulations to Chief Law. Best wishes, go get them out there, show them how we do it. No offense, Canada. And a little bit of lightness here. I wanted to say thank you to this administrative staff for the Christmas spirit that I was able to share with my family members. We came and got to visit through all the exhibits and exhibitions. So Santa's elves were very, very busy at work, and the little ones in my family loved it. So that's great. And a little shout out here to the chief elf who helped precipitate, encourage, and push all the other elves to have a terrific Christmas vibe. So thank you to everyone.
Thank you, Director. To my right with Director Sailors.
I just want to wish the retirees welcome to 2025 as a retired member. And thank you, everyone, for everything that's going on down in Southern California to take care of that part of the state. Stay safe, and let's continue having a good year. Thank you.
Thank you, Director. Director Gould?
No comment.
Director Rice?
Contained.
Director Clark?
Contained.
Director Stark?
Contained as well.
Oh, Lordy be.
Director Weber?
Not contained. I'd just like to congratulate the retirees. or the promotions first and foremost, and then the retirees, specifically the one in the room, to Chief Law. Not that she is one of these, but most of the old people in this room I've known for, if not all, most of your careers. So thank you for everything that you have done in these steps. I know you probably wish that you were back on the line sometimes, but all of your work is extremely important, and as President or Director Gould has stated before, makes our job incredibly easy, or easier than it would be. So thank you. Another shout out to Chief House, and if there's anybody else that has done this as well, thank you very much. But Chief House had stood in for a firefighter on Christmas Day, therefore alleviating a mandatory for this individual. So thank you very much. I know you did that last year as well. I'm sure the family members appreciate it, but the member that you did that for will never forget that, and will pay that forward from time and time and time again. So that's a big deal to these folks. So thank you. And then lastly, I'd like to, before we go into closed session, have a moment of silence. We've lost two family members recently, firefighter Greg Luckett and mechanic Ron Heckelberg. I'd like to recognize them and their service to the family as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Director Weber. We'll be sure and do that. Director Costa?
Thank you. I just want to say congratulations to the promotions, and Chief Law, congratulations. And then I want to say, thank you to the men and women. All your hard work is sacrifices, and thank you for your family sacrifices as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Director. I just have a couple of things to say. I am not contained either. I want to thank Chief Keeley. He organized on Christmas morning, gave support to the Burn Institute and their annual Christmas caroling throughout the Burn Center. My wife and I were down there, my daughter, and Chief Keeley made sure that Metro Fire was well represented, even if off-key, but we were all there and provided what was a very meaningful and a good time getting around and singing and just sharing with people in the Burn unit. And it was very meaningful. So thanks to him and everyone else that was out there on Christmas Day. On the Burn Center, boot drive coming up February 5th through the 8th. It's Super Bowl weekend. They're not doing the boot drive on Sunday. Obviously, it's Super Bowl. So it will be ending on Saturday this year. And we do need to get firefighters signed up. And this year, in order to help get some firefighters in there, the Burn Institute got donations for some raffles and they'll do a raffle for every shift. And the top prizes, there's a 36-inch Blackstone griddle. There's a 2-night stay at the Inn at Boat Works in Tahoe City with a $250 gift card for Jake's on the Lake. And there was one other one, and I don't have it here. But so for all you Metro members, there are incentives to get out there for this raffle. And beyond that, it's something we should be doing because God forbid we ever need to use the Burn Center for one of our members. They are there, they're funded, they're staffed, and they're there to help. And you can't support a better organization in my mind. So I want to see a lot of Metro members. We have people from Travis Air Force Base, we have them from Modesto, we have all these other organizations that come out, and we need to get a lot of our people in our own backyard here at Sunrise Mall that weekend. So look forward to seeing you out there. And with that, two things. We're going to go into closed session here in a moment, and don't want to see anyone when we come back out. But before we go, we would like to have a moment for firefighter Luckett and mechanic Hocklenberg. Excuse me.
Recording stopped.